man.
All right, we're going.
We're gonna hit the intro real quick, and then we'll pick up with you if that's all right.
Yeah.
Dictionary.com
There you go.
defines an unplanned approach as impromptu, done without preparation, unwitting, done without awareness, spontaneous, done without thought. Wait a minute. That means you guys don't have a plan?
No.
Hate to tell her that.
Well,
every
that's
time.
dumb. You might as well start the show.
Get out of here. She knows we don't have a plan.
So, John, that's my 11-year-old daughter that did the intro there. Think she's cool. She's cool now, and the older two are more pissed about it. So every time I hear it, I just laugh. I laugh. So John with the PitchGrid Podcast, Kyle joins us today. We've been doing this. We've been thinking about this for a while. There's my wife. Do you want to say anything?
I'm traumatized.
Okay. I'll give you a little background here in a minute. Okay, we'll talk about it. You come on after this and we'll talk about it. So my daughter, my 15-year-old, passed her driver's test today. So she got her permit.
Oh, awesome.
Is it awesome, John? Is it awesome? Well, she was like, Dad,
not so much.
well, she was like, can we go drive, Dad? And I'm like, fine, whatever. And I never am in the passenger seat anyway. So I felt like I was driving on the outside of the car anyway. And every new driver, what do? They hug the
they hug the middle.
This one hugs
she hugs the edge.
Oh my
she's
God,
afraid
dude.
of all the traffic.
Oh my God. I was
my
like,
son hugged the middle, and I was like, what are you doing?
I'd rather her hug the middle because I'm in the passenger seat having limbs hit the windshield
Right.
in front of me. And I'm like, God, dude.
Yeah, you're on the bleeding side. Move it over.
Yeah, what the hell is wrong with you? Golly. So that was my wife. She came downstairs because she took a shift and they went to the local restaurant to eat, and evidently it's an adventure. So we're going to make a podcast out of that too, probably.
Oh yeah. We'll hook the GoPro and put it in front of, and then just go.
I've got video.
Nice.
I videoed until my phone ran out.
Oh,
so
my.
sorry about that.
A vlog series.
Well, I just wanted to document my death day, just in case.
Just in case.
So, John, the Pitch Podcast is something that I've listened to it a couple times, man. I do have some questions for you about it because
Shoot, man, I'm an open book.
I have a hard enough time following one team, more or less,
Right.
all the NFL teams. And I'll tell you what, when it comes to soccer, my dad once hit it on the head. He said, you know why people play soccer, John?
Why?
So they don't have to watch it.
Oh, wow. I mean, some people say we contradict that. But,
Well, now all three of my daughters play it. So it's like karma kicking me in the nuts, man, in all honesty.
Yeah, now he's trying to defend it all the time, and I'm down here arguing that it's just somebody kicking a ball in a garage door.
Wow. This is a guy that likes to bowl. So, true athlete to my right here, John. The bowler.
I'm a finely tuned machine.
No, so what's your team? I mean, so how did you blend? Why do you have an affection for both sports, for soccer or football?
Yeah.
And football?
I like to call it football from both sides of the pond. So I've always loved the NFL. That's since I was a kid. And I always, like, when we go to the library, I'd pick out books and learn all the information I could about the history of the game and players. And I grew up in Kansas.
Wow, okay.
So don't hate me, but I'm a Chiefs fan.
Oof. Before or after they were good? Because
Dante Hall was my first jersey, if that gives you any indication.
Okay. That's old enough.
And yeah, I just grew up loving the game. When we moved to Cincinnati, I listened to Chiefs games from their radio broadcast.
Oh, wow.
Online. And every Sunday I would get my iPad out, put up the radio app, and listen every week to Mitch Holtis and Len Dawson calling a Chiefs game.
That's the best. He's good. He was good.
Yeah,
He's
he
a
was
legend,
great.
man.
Yeah, Len Dawson no longer with us, unfortunately. Rest in peace, legend.
Right.
But yeah, I grew up listening, and then lately I have a few British friends, and they really have gotten me into the international game. I've always been an MLS fan, and Sporting KC, and I really just started getting into the international game and the rules and the strategy.
Right.
Sure.
And I didn't want to take a Premier League team. That felt cliche. I
Really?
didn't like being cliche.
I was going to ask you about that, actually, why you went with the second tier. It's like picking a AAA team over a
Because I didn't want to feel
professional team.
cliche.
Okay, well,
Right.
You didn't want to just go with Man U or,
Right.
or Chelsea.
Manchester United.
Somebody, hey, I'm a big fan. Really? I just started watching yesterday.
Right.
Fantastic.
I mean, like, yes, there's all these recognizable brands. So, like, now you have Wrexham, for example, who's in the second tier. There are very recognizable brands here in the States.
Right.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I would argue the second tier of English football is 100 times better than the Premier League.
Probably why? Because they are working harder to get back up?
Because it's more chaotic.
Explain that. People won't understand that. I don't explain that. That's pretty interesting.
Well, okay. So think about this. You have 24 teams in a table that, yes, they want to get to the Premier League. That is the goal. That is the step up from the championship.
Right.
So you have 3 teams that go up every year. You have 3 teams coming down, right, that want to get back up because of all the revenue, all the TV rights, all the fun,
right.
all that.
It is crazy.
I didn't
money.
even think about that, the revenue aspect of it. That is, yeah. Okay. So
Yeah, and
continue.
for
That's
these clubs-
interesting.
For these clubs, that is everything because a lot of these clubs are not wealthy. A lot of these clubs are somewhat in debt.
Oh, yeah, because Wrexham was very, very poor when it was bought, right?
Yes, it was. And that, I mean, imagine that,
I know
but sometimes worse. I can tell you a situation that's happening right now in the championship
Okay.
that is diabolically bad. But then imagine 3 other teams go down and they're going to lose money
Right.
and revenue. And not only that, you're fighting to just keep your head above water in terms of respect. And some of these are historic clubs that have been around since the 1800s.
Uh-huh.
And imagine like every game is 1-0, and then all of a sudden it ends 2-1 for the other team.
All right.
You can have 92nd minute winners. You can just look at the previous playoffs for the championship.
Okay.
We had an extra time winner
Ooh.
with the last kick of the game. I kid you not. This team was looking like it was going to lose
Okay.
away at home, and they were the number 4. They placed 4th in the final standings.
Okay.
And free kick, so they get a corner kick. This is in the 120th minute. If this doesn't go in, the game is probably headed to penalty kicks. And penalty kicks are a lottery because you never know
Right.
who's going to miss, what if the goalkeeper's going to be good, he can guess the right way, all that. There's
Sure.
a million variables in
Right.
a penalty shootout. So free kick comes in, and a defender heads the ball into the top corner. A defender, by the way. This is not an attacker.
Oh.
This is not.
Oops.
And the stadium just goes bonkers,
Right.
what they call limbs. So everyone just like has their hands thrown up in the air. They call it limbs. And
That's funny.
and the limbs are amazing. Like everyone's just screaming, and you can tell this means everything. This club, Sunderland, hadn't been back to the Premier League in 8 years.
Oh.
They had suffered back-to-back relegations. They had gone through crappy ownership. They had gone through crappy coaching and bad luck. And now, I mean, there's a TV show called Sunderland Till I Die. You can see exactly when this started.
Oh, wow.
This journey started. It's on Netflix.
I'll have to watch that.
And then you see them not only win this game and that game, it's the semifinals in extra time. You see them win on a bad pass from the opposite team going backwards, and in the last minute of the playoff final to go to the Premier League, they score.
Oh, my God.
This is kind of chaos you can expect almost weekly in the championship.
Like, that's like the playoffs, right? Like, is it like the NFL
That's
where
the playoff.
I mean, I'm talking about like, so NBA, Major League Baseball, a lot of this stuff is hard to watch because they play so many games. And then when they get in the playoffs, it becomes really, really interesting because now it's nut cutting time, basically, right? So
Right.
So what you're talking about are the regular season games that intense, or you make the playoffs and then it just gets like hockey playoff intense?
No, it's intense every week.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because they don't have
85
They don't have anything
games.
to lose.
Right.
None of these teams have anything to lose.
right.
You're either going to be playing for a top 6 finish to go to the playoffs, or you're fine to scrap out of a relegation scrap,
Right.
or you're just fine to not be mediocre.
How many leagues are there?
Okay. If we're talking strictly ESL, there is 3 leagues in the ESL, or the English Football League.
Okay.
So that's Championship, League 1, and League 2. So that's 2nd through 4th tiers. Then after that, you get 5 more tiers, and those are called non-league,
Oh my God.
where it's basically Sunday league. Basically, these guys are just playing for the fun of the game.
That's me and Kyle with baseball and the 40 and
we're
over
doing it
league.
right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Just trying not to get hurt.
And then you're trying
Yeah,
to
exactly.
and you're trying to do anything to get into the EFL.
Right.
But see, the crazy part is this doesn't just affect a team. Like here in America, we just think of franchises, right?
Right.
So a team is a franchise. It's owned by a billionaire, right?
Right.
In the championship, you're lucky if you get a billionaire owner.
Right.
Huh. It's a bunch of people, or it's one guy that.
It's local businessmen that own it. It can be a group of guys.
Oh, that makes a huge difference. That's why Packers fans are so stupid.
But see, the thing is, these clubs affect not just the team themselves; they affect their community,
Right.
economically, socially. I mean, these people have grown up rooting for this team, and it's a part of the intrinsic community. So if the club goes down, so does the town.
Yeah,
It's a
because
little
I've
bit.
watched that Wrexham. Welcome to Wrexham. I've watched that. I just took an interest in it after
Right.
watching Ted Lasso, and
Yeah.
it's amazing what McElhaney and Ryan Reynolds have done to that town, let alone the soccer club. It is. You should
Exactly.
watch it. It is insane.
I'm very interested in it. I'm interested too with. I mean, I love that. I'd actually like more than watching. This is going to sound so shitty, bro, but I'm sorry. I would like watching more like their sportscast and how they talk about what team's doing what than actually watching the game. Do you understand that? Like when it comes to something like that, like the NFL, I can't stand all the talking heads. They got a bunch of people that never played, a bunch of women that were never in the locker room. I mean, I don't mind all that, and that's fine. But that seems like more of a promotional deal. They don't really get to the nut cutting where, like in the draft, I'm infatuated by the draft because they're digging deeper into people that are Division III players, and they're really telling their story, right? So when it comes to that, go ahead.
Imagine a soccer game, right? A lot of these announcers are talking about players and their story coming up just randomly because they've mentioned this player one time.
And there's not a ton of action. I mean, it's kind of like watching American baseball where, you're talking more about the stories, and it's a storytelling event, and then the action happens kind of thing. And you're kind of, am I right?
I would argue there's more action in soccer than baseball.
Oh, probably because it's constantly moving. Yeah,
it's
for
constantly
sure.
moving.
For sure.
You're constantly, so an average soccer game can have around 30 shots.
What? Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow, I would have never guessed that. That's
why I would be the ultimate goal scorer in soccer because I could kick it in that garage door every time. You can blindfold me. I kick it right in every time.
Dude.
Kyle, football's life. Football's
Do you want to know what the goal
life.
of the season was in the championship?
No.
It was a guy who went from center field, the midfield.
Right.
He kicked the ball, and it looped into the top right corner.
God, you are on top of this shit, man. Do you have a lot of people from across the pond listening to you?
Not yet. If you look at my YouTube analytics, it looks mostly like the U.S.
All right.
Because they mostly pay attention to the NFL.
Right. No, I get that. But you know what? I mean, I would honestly, if there was a podcast in Europe about the NFL and their opinion on it from a bunch of people that never played it in this, at this level and understand what it's like over here, I would love to hear that. I would love to hear their analysis on games and shit.
There are tons of NFL UK podcasts.
Are they? But I want regular guys. I don't want a bunch of dudes that, you know what I mean? I don't want them bringing in Terry Bradshaw.
Abroad. If you're a Chiefs fan, there's Arrowheads Abroad.
Arrowheads Abroad. I like the name.
Oh, you got to send me some of these links.
I like the name. That's outstanding.
Because I think the Colts are going to Spain this year or something.
Germany,
right.
Yeah. They're playing the Falcons.
That's some fascinating shit. Dude, you are on it. I can't believe, I mean, I told Kyle, I said, I wanted to talk to you because, we wanted to talk to you because of that. I mean, I'll tell you what, I've told people that hate soccer, my dad included, and me growing up. I mean, I remember where I played college baseball, we had an All-American soccer player there. And we were at a party one night drinking some beers, and I was like, dude, soccer's got to be the most boring thing I've ever. And I told him the joke I told you, right? Why do people play it? Mm-hmm. And he said, this coming from a baseball guy. And I said, wait a minute. I said, there are so many things happening in a baseball game, the average person doesn't understand it. And he just looked at me like with that dead cold stare, like, really? Uh-huh. And I'm like, you know what? I probably don't know enough about soccer to even be having this conversation. And he probably doesn't know enough about baseball.
Stat?
Do what?
You want to know a crazy stat about soccer viewership here in the U.S.?
Go.
There are more people watching soccer here in the U.S. than watching hockey.
Well, I can understand that. We've got a lot of. I mean, it's a melting pot. And soccer's getting more and more popular. I mean,
it is the fourth most popular sport to watch here in the U.S. now.
I'd be willing to bet that. I mean, we're trying to build a stadium here, and like I said, like I tried to tell my dad, I said, Dad, soccer is a lot like basketball, and it's a lot like football. Where, in all honesty, the last 2 minutes of the first half and the last 4 minutes of the game, the last 6 minutes of each half are just like a soccer game where now all of a sudden it gets ramped up because it's go time. It's like every other sport where when you've got scoring opportunities, it gets super exciting. When you don't, when the Colts are playing the Bills and they're playing between the 30s and nobody's getting close, that's boring as shit. That's like watching a bad soccer game. I mean, it is kind of amazing, and I've come around to the soccer more because my kids are playing, and I kind of understand it. But I've seen the excitement. I'm watching 8th graders play it, and they're scoring in the last minute to tie games. I'm like, holy shit! This has got some legs. So
yeah, it does. I love it, man. I love the fan culture. Like, have you heard an English soccer chant?
Oh, yeah, they're the best.
I've heard,
They make up stuff in the town. They write songs, and then the whole town learns them, and then they sing the song.
What?
It is crazy.
I have been. Go ahead.
They'll call people curse words
in
the chant.
Yeah.
Dude, you can share that, like wanka on Ted Lasso. Right. Wanka.
Yes, exactly.
Have you ever been to Europe for a game?
I want to, man.
Have you been to Europe at all?
So bad. No.
So
I want to.
So I'll tell you a quick story, and I've told it on the podcast before. When I was in grad school, my last class was an independent study in Poland. So we stayed in Wrocław, Poland. So that would be like Fort Wayne, Indiana, or whatever the second biggest city in Tennessee is, probably Knoxville, maybe. Mm-hmm. Okay. So that would be in Knoxville, which is a big deal. I mean, it's the second biggest city in the nation, though, not a state. So we were there, and we were down in their town square, on a Saturday or whatever. We were hanging out, drinking some beers or whatever. And here comes a group of people chanting down the road, and it's a mob. It's not violent or anything, but I was like, what the hell is that? And somebody said, oh, there's a soccer match, or the soccer match just got over, something like that. And it was cool to see. I mean, it's kind of like, excuse me, I guess you could.
Polish fans are insane, dude. Polish fans are insane, but I love it. There are some pictures of Polish stadiums where literally there's like a ton of players and they've set things on fire.
That's Hey, because they're sick of being taken over, man. Every time they turn around, somebody takes them over. So now they're the most powerful army in Europe because they don't want any more bullshit.
Yeah, that's
but it was interesting watching it because when you leave a football game or especially a college football game, people are chanting and doing shit or they're walking in. It's kind of the same thing, and it's funny that Americans don't understand that culture is. They're doing the exact same thing we're doing, but they are probably 5 times more. I don't know if they're LA Dodger fans, killing San Diego Padre fans or anything like that.
Well, I don't know. They keep them separate, and I heard a statement one time as, why are these fans with this team this far away from the other fans? It's because you can't throw a battery. That far, yeah. And they stay separate.
Everybody's the Oakland Raiders.
Toss, yes.
Everybody's the Oakland Raiders.
And then throwing balloons with barbicide in them on each other, and
you got me.
Urine bombs.
I'm hooked, John. You got me, man. If there's any fist fights, if they could only incorporate some hockey fist fights in it, man, I'm 100% in.
CBS bought broadcasting rights to broadcast the ESL here in the States.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Well, they try it every few years, right? Isn't this tried every? Well, I mean, not them specifically, but I mean, like CBS tried 3 or 4 years ago.
They did, but ESPN bought them out.
Right, and then now that the UFC their contract has expired.
Really? They can't let the UFC go.
ESPN?
Yeah.
I think they're testing that market a little bit. Like, can they let it go?
Oh shit, the UFC is huge. But it's gotten too right wing for ESPN probably. Right, so they don't like that Donald Trump shows up at the fights and takes center stage.
That is so funny watching that happen.
So now, so your team, you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan. Where do you go? Sir. So when I listened to your episode on the draft, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, God, you're talking about, I do a little bit of research on the draft, not a ton. I'm more into, after the Colts pick, going back and reading all the bios, then saying, man, was that a good pick or not? I kind of do it in reverse because I don't have time to spend the time to do what one of my buddy's little brothers does, who's a scout, who's the head scout for the Colts on the West Coast. So, I thought you did a great job of breaking down I'm like, how does he know who John, whatever the hell his name is from TCU? I was kind of like, wow. So kudos to you. I guess my question is, how do you have time to kind of know what the hell you're talking about? So if somebody came on and I told him, we talked to this guy on the Pitch podcast, and he does soccer and he does football. How do I explain to somebody, say, man, he's pretty good at knowing the football, when I'm a type of guy that's like, I want to know if you played, I want back, you know what I mean? I want the real in-depth nitty-gritty stuff, but I thought you did a great job. How do you do it? Where do you find the time?
I honestly, I'm a nerd.
I could tell. No, I'm just kidding. This is a Bust Your Balls podcast. I'm just kidding. Kyle plays Dungeons and Dragons, so I
can't throw any stones here.
No,
I'm a huge nerd when it comes to so I keep up with college football, and if that helps a lot because
that
then
helps a lot.
Right, yeah.
If you kind of know a lot of some of the basic storylines, you keep up with some of the players, it helps you to know, okay, watch this guy going into the draft, see where he goes.
Oh, that's interesting.
Stuff like that. And honestly, one of the things I'm trying to preach on the podcast is perspective and listening to every voice, not just the big teams, the big markets,
right?
What ESPN would do. But why don't we give every team a voice? Why don't we give every club a voice? Because there's some that don't get that voice nationally or internationally. Okay, the Chiefs get a lot of coverage, right?
Sure.
Right, of course, now, yeah.
Or, you have your typical
every Sunday.
Eagles.
Dallas is on every Sunday. They have a primetime game every 2 weeks.
Yeah, the Cowboys. NBA, you have the Lakers and the Celtics
all the time,
or the Yankees and Dodgers,
or the Boston, New York. Every damn time they play they play the whole series on ESPN or national, and I can't stand it.
Nope.
Okay, but hear me out. What if we gave a voice to the Cardinals?
I hate so you picked the other team that I can't stand. That's always on. The Cardinals are they're one of the super
Arizona
teams.
Cardinals. The Arizona.
Oh,
Cardinals.
You mean football? Yeah, for sure. I'm with you. Yes.
Why don't we give a voice to the Diamondbacks?
I agree 1,000%,
Is that
man.
a football team?
No, he's talking about he's crossing lines like I was.
I'm kidding.
No, I mean, you're absolutely right. That's exactly what I've said for years. I'd rather see the Detroit Lions. Why don't you put the Detroit Lions on? They're an up-and-coming team. Why don't you put them on?
Well, that's happening
and
now.
talk about them.
Happening.
Yeah,
MCDC is going to be on your TV.
I love watching them. I rooted for them. I root for the Bills.
You know MCDC, right? Motor City Dan Campbell.
Yes.
It's the best nickname
That
ever.
is awesome, dude.
MCDC.
I mean, but you're right. John. You're absolutely right. I've thought that for years. There are certain teams that nobody even knows about.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, when teams are in your division, we know plenty about them. But like the Arizona Cardinals, that's a great callback because one of the kids I coached in baseball years ago ended up being drafted from Harvard to play for them. So I wanted to know, you know, and it's kind of like you got to go do your own research. And the NFL does such a poor job of promoting the other teams minus the big five, or we got to have Pittsburgh, got to have Washington. I mean, it's like, come on, dude. You almost have the Colts even only because we had Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Only because we had Peyton Manning.
Example. Until Manning came around, no one cared about the Colts.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
And then even before that, I mean, when they were in Baltimore and then when they moved to Indy, you know, no one cared.
No.
Fact.
Because after that, they kind of faded into obscurity for a bit. But, you know, when Manning came around, everyone suddenly cared again. But, like, you know, I'm trying to think, like the Browns, right?
Ugh.
Why don't we, you know, they need a voice too, even if they suck.
Well, you know what? Their story could be very interesting. How do they can keep doing the same stupid shit over and over? You know, I mean, there's a story there. There's an amazing story there because you can't go that long and be that bad especially when you've changed personnel a couple times.
Exactly.
How are you still that bad?
Well, you lost your whole team.
Exactly.
You lost.
But then you look at
team.
history, right? Like I'm doing this what if series, right? For NFL what ifs, right?
Right.
What if like Joe Namath never signed with the Jets was my latest short on that. And if you just go look back at NFL history, if something just changes like 1 centimeter or one play is not happening. Okay, let's take the Browns again. Let's say Ernst Feiner never fumbles the ball.
Right. Is John Elway a legend?
Let's say John Elway never has the drive.
Yeah, then is he a legend or is he an obscurity? That's a great question.
Like you just like, is that where this all started for the Browns? Like, you know, we all dog on Marty Schottenheimer for being the coach that was a 14-2 guy at San Diego.
Right.
Didn't get it done. But he's one of the more underrated coaches in NFL history just because he got to so many AFC championship games, and yet he always got unlucky.
Well, you know what's funny is for a long time as a Colts fan, that's what we were the Atlanta Braves, honestly. We had the best team in the league for 12 years, right? And won one Super Bowl and went to only 2. And the second one, I hate to say it, but I forget who was the New Orleans coach that's a genius that everybody thinks is a genius now.
Yeah.
Sean Payton made 2 of the stupidest mistakes I've ever seen in a football game, and they both worked out perfectly for him. The onside kick to start the second half. I know that, but if Hank Baskins doesn't drop that, I mean, it hits him right in the wickets. He doesn't drop that. Yeah. Colts go down and score. That game's basically over. I mean,
it is.
And to end the first half, the Colts, I forget what they did. They had it was New Orleans could have kicked a field goal like with a minute 10 to go, and they went for it. Colts stop them. And the Colts drive a little bit down the field. Had he kicked the field goal or whatever, the way that it worked out, they would have had the last score of the half. But what he did, he went for it, and the Colts kind of fuzzed out. And then they had one long play or something, ended up scoring anyway. And I'm like, God, he mismanaged the clock, and then he made that stupid decision to kick, and it both worked out. And it changed the course of, does Manning stay here? I mean, obviously he's a legend. He's got a statue and all that. But does that change how people look at the franchise? Because all of a sudden they've won 2 in 6 years. Who knows, man? That you bring up a great point, and something that I hope people are on your podcast are responding to, because that's really interesting. There's a lot of what ifs. If Bo Jackson doesn't break his hip, holy shit, are we talking about him as? I mean, are we talking about him as what he was, the greatest athlete, on the planet? I mean, it's crazy.
Exactly.
Well, if you're going to play what if, what about Minnesota trading for Herschel?
Or
worst trade in history, right?
Worst trade in history.
What if Philly never lost the snowball Santa game?
Right.
Do they become?
And what if they had actually lost that game? They would have gotten O.J. Simpson.
Yep. Yep. I've heard that theory before. Yeah, they would have gotten O.J.
I mean, that's beautiful. Dude, going back to the Herschel Walker trade, that's like what I mean. So you talk. I'm sure you talk about this, and man, if you ever want to host, we'll jump on. I want to talk some serious football stuff, and we could talk about some of this past stuff. But I mean, what's Mike Ditka thinking when he gives this whole draft away to get Ricky Williams? I mean, are you shitting me? And do you remember who got picked right in front of Ricky Williams?
Oh, come on. I forget.
Edgerrin James. Edgerrin James. All the Colts fans we had,
and everybody thought we were stupid.
Oh, we took Manning, and we were set up to have the greatest running back in NCAA history, and they take Edgerrin James, and everybody's like, "Who's this guy?"
Right.
I mean,
Edge is awesome.
Well,
Edge is awesome.
That's how much these people that like these Mel Kipers and shit that
thought the Colts should have taken Ryan Leaf.
Yeah, it's. Well, I mean, it's
how many people thought that?
No, it was. I don't know. Now I think that's because they try to build hype, because there's no way anybody actually thought that. Especially when you hear what Manning said to what's his name? Who was their GM? Was Polian. What he said to Bill Polian and Ursayer in the room together. They said, why should we take you? And he said, because if you don't, I'm going to spend the next 15 years coming in here and kicking your ass. I'm like, okie doke, man.
Yeah, I
mean, okay, man. You got
exactly. And Dungy was part of that decision too.
Dungy wasn't there yet.
Not yet, but I think they were kind of thinking ahead a little bit. I don't know.
When they drafted him, so the way that it went down was, we had Jim Mora, who, when he called him out on the playoffs, we can't throw 4 interceptions. I mean, Peyton Manning still might hold the record for most pick sixes in a season. I think he had 6 in his freshman year.
I believe he does.
I mean, his rookie year, he was awful. He was so awful, which is interesting because now you look at today's NFL. If Peyton Manning played in today's NFL and played that poorly his first 2 years, could you imagine what the media? Yeah, he's done. His career's over, right?
Hello, Anthony Richardson.
Well, and that's where I'm leading. That's where I'm leading to, man. John, hit me with Anthony Richardson. What are your thoughts?
Okay. So actually, I talked about this in a recent episode. I talked about the Colts quarterback battle. And I said, Daniel Jones has a golden opportunity here to start.
Yeah, we
I can't tell you how excited I am for this.
Well, hold on. This is the best. I actually thought when they signed him, I thought it was like an April Fool's type shit. I'm like, what? Because the big thing in the paper here was Colts are looking to bring somebody in to challenge, Anthony Richardson. So we've got the number 2 worst quarterback in the league, and to challenge him, they go get the first worst quarterback in the league, and then they draft Riley Leonard, who couldn't throw a football out of a boat and hit water. I mean, we are sitting here with our thumbs so far up our asses, we can't figure it out. But I want to hear what you have to say.
You want a real quick side, going back to the pick 6 record? Mm-hmm. Guess who holds it now? Peyton Manning doesn't hold it anymore.
Oh, it's somebody good. It's Joe Burrows, or is it the guy in Buffalo?
No.
Who is it?
Jameis Winston.
Oh shit! Never mind. It's not. It's somebody that's not any good.
There's another quarterback, man. I really like
threw-
Jameis Winston.
Come on.
He
Kyle.
threw 7 pick sixes in a season.
Are you shitting me?
I like it.
Kyle said that's the guy he really likes.
I do. I really like Jameis Winston. Although I like Danny Dimes too. Before you get into your statement on that, this is why I got a little excited. Steichen likes running. The offense he likes running, which takes a guy that's 6'6".
You're playing right to my
and can
hand,
run.
Kyle.
Oh, so you agree? Danny Dimes is Anthony Richardson.
He's what?
Yeah.
So they're going to move Richardson? Do we waste a third pick on a quarterback that won't play tight end and would be the best tight end in the league?
I will tell you the coolest stat about Anthony Richardson.
Oh, this is going to get really good. This might end up being the greatest episode we ever have, Kyle.
It might be. So Anthony Richardson, when they figure probabilities of a quarterback throwing to a receiver, do you know this, John? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
When they say like a 10-yard pass is a 100% pass to catch rate.
Okay.
Depending on the quarterback, that rate goes up and down depending on how accurate.
Well, I know Richardson's probably a 2.
No, he's a negative, like, what is it, 15, 12?
Yeah, he's off.
Like
he can throw the deep ball.
So if it's a 50%, you're knocking it down to
35. So you're going to tell me Daniel Jones is plus 855
he's
or
not
something?
Plus 850, but he's definitely on the plus side because he is hyper accurate.
I never thought he was awful. I think you draft quarterbacks in this league, and if you don't put them in a system they can be successful in, then they're not going to be successful.
I think that's what the Giants did. I think this kid could be good because he's not as fast as Richardson, but he is easily as big, and he likes to run.
John, go. I want to hear what you got. I'm done hearing from the bowler. I want to hear from somebody that doesn't go to play their sports and drink beer and cigarettes.
Right. We get theories.
Okay. So, Anthony Richardson has talent. I don't think we can deny he has talent. When he started the first season, he had the first 5 games before he got injured. I saw something. There's potential
Me too.
in him, right?
I saw it too. I saw it. Yep.
And then that, I'm pretty sure that destroyed his confidence.
Oh, when he got hurt?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I agree.
You could tell he was confident. He was decisive with his decisions, and he looked good.
He did.
Like, he was good running, and he was good passing. I thought he was going to take off when he got back. But then last year, of course, everyone just remembers him now for tapping out of the game, right?
Right.
Everyone just knows of him as the guy who tapped out of the game for whatever reason. You know, we don't know exactly what reason. I want to get okay. Let's take my perspective thing. What if he's his mental? We're going to say
acuity.
People are going to say, oh, mental stuff shouldn't happen on the NFL field, right?
Right.
But this is absolutely a thing. We see this with retirement, where NFL players just don't know what to do and they just freeze up.
Sure.
And they don't have a plan because they never planned for retirement.
Right.
So let's take it from Anthony Richardson's perspective. He doesn't know what to think. He's frazzled mentally. He's like, I need a break. I need something. I need the only thing I can think of is just to tap out.
Right.
So
and whatever this, I forget the exact circumstances this was in.
It was 4th down. He didn't get it, and he kind of said, "I'm done."
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a sign that his confidence got shot somehow. I don't know exactly what the reason is. I don't think we might never know.
Well, that's true. I just wonder if he can even. I mean,
someone else pointed this out. What if he had a lack of reps, and those reps that he's missing might also be his downfall?
Well, but you're also, remember, you hired a quarterback guru in Steichen that I mean, the problem with the NFL is all these teams think if they need a quarterback, they have to go draft one instead of kind of everybody wants to win now. It kind of sucks that way. So you go and you draft somebody that can't play a lick. I mean, go ahead.
let me hit you with this. I think free agent veteran quarterbacks nowadays are a risky proposition.
You think? I think if I were running a team, and granted we know that I'm not, but I would think I would go after a 2-year veteran that
a 2-year you're not going to get. There'll be at least 5 because they all sign 5-year contracts.
But I'm talking. I will trade my pick for your guy that I've got some film on, rather than take for example Shedeur Sanders. Is he going to be good?
Yes,
but what if he is going to be good? And there are people that think he's going to be great, and I would deal that guy to give me C.J. Beathard, who has shown flashes of competence.
Okay, you did some research for this.
Hear me out on this. Who were the free agent quarterbacks this last offseason?
Aaron Rodgers, Daniel Jones. I mean, yeah.
Sam Darnold.
Right.
Darnold, right.
I don't like him. I don't like his face. He's got a punchable face. I didn't like him. I didn't like him when he was at USC. I hated him when he got drafted. I thought, I'll never if that guy walked into my office, I'd be like, get out.
The O'Connell kid, wasn't he a free agent? And I thought that O'Connell kid for was the Raiders. I thought he was really Aiden O'Connell.
He is good. Oh, he's from Purdue. He's a Purdue guy.
Yeah, and
he did a good job for Detroit, and he did a. He's not gotten a good. He got
drafted by the Raiders.
So right. Why wouldn't you deal for a kid like that?
I don't know. Well,
but my thing is, okay, would you trust any of those free agents to walk into the Colts locker room and be quarterback one?
Well, see, Danny Dimes, I would, because I feel like he's almost perfectly suited to run Steichen's offense.
Oh, God.
I know. I'm gonna be in the minority on this, but I really do. The kid is accurate, and they added Jonnu Smith.
Okay.
Who's an athletic?
No, Jonnu's a Steeler.
That's right. He's a Steeler. I'm sorry, he's a Steeler.
We didn't add anybody.
Sorry.
We didn't add anybody. Yeah.
Okay, hear me out.
Listen, here we go.
I'm going to agree with Kyle here.
Oh, God.
Because
yes,
this show's going. This is the Titanic show.
Because Jonathan Taylor is one of the more underrated running backs nowadays.
Yeah.
In this league.
Well,
will we not agree with this?
Because he's from a standpoint of athleticism and what he could be. The reason people are down on him and the people here are down on him because he doesn't progress. He doesn't possess a working class spirit. He gets hurt way too much. He did that whole holdout thing. I mean, nobody will say that his talent's not amazing, but he takes plays off. So go ahead.
Oh, yeah, but the thing is now you have DJ Giddens.
Yeah, that was a great pick. Actually, I listened to your assessment of that, and actually what I do, like I told you. So, what I do before the draft is I'll go and look at the mock drafts, and then I'll go research the players that people think the Colts should pick. So when they do so, that was when you said that, I thought the same thing when I was listening to your podcast. I said, that is going to be a great break that they can just rotate 2 young guys, basically. It could be ridiculous.
And that's the thing. You guys have been using Taylor as the sole workhorse, right?
Oh, absolutely.
You had Zach Moss.
Zach Moss had a hell of a year that year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when Taylor is healthy, he was the solo guy.
Oh, right, for sure.
Now he's coming into a full season healthy, right? He's coming in because nowadays the trend is starting to become a tandem of running backs.
Mm-hmm.
That you don't need just one running back anymore. You need 2 at least good running backs.
Sure.
Right. I mean,
so because you're seeing in Houston, you have Nick Chubb, Joe Mixon, Kansas City, Isaiah Pacheco, Kareem Hunt, Elijah Moore. You're seeing in New England, Ramondre Stevenson, and the guy they drafted out of Ohio State. I keep forgetting. Travion Henderson.
Right. No, you're right. You're right. Well,
Harris.
What's funny is what you're saying, and it's interesting because people aren't drafting them in the first round more, but you see running backs going from the 2nd to the 5th or 4th.
Because people are scared to draft in first round anymore.
True, because they don't want to hear the criticism because you've got to basically do what the Colts did, right? They drafted him in the 2nd round, made him a feature back. He became unbelievable. And then if you can get, you're right.
Trent Richardson. They don't want a Trent Richardson.
That was one of the worst. Well,
You know how much fun I got made of because I was actually excited.
I thought it was a great trade.
I thought I was so excited when he came here.
Hey, this is why it's unplanned
my
approach.
God.
This is why it's unplanned approach, John, because now we're on a tangent because I thought that was a great trade.
I did too. I was so happy about it. I thought he's going to come over here and he is going to light this
Dude,
place
everybody that leaves
on
Cleveland.
fire.
Yeah. And, man,
Yeah.
I kept pushing for him. And
Nope.
And I just finally had to.
Yep.
And I was a season ticket holder at that point. And I had to kind of be like, okay, dude, this guy sucks. Get rid of him.
Get rid of him.
What did you think originally? You were probably, I don't know how old you are, John, but here, I'll ask you this and I'll figure it out. Did you get to see Derek Thomas ever play?
I wish I could have.
So you're younger, right?
Right.
So you're a younger guy.
Slightly. I was born right the year before he died.
He was
somewhere
Looney
around there.
Tunes, dude. That guy was the next Lawrence Taylor. He was
He was.
ridiculous.
He was
The
ridiculous.
7-sack game where he never got the 7 sack.
Right.
Yeah.
He was ridiculous, and I can't believe
I love his football
he was a great
documentary.
guy, man. That they lost it. That he was a great. He wasn't. I mean, LT was an incredible talent, and he's a great guy because he's hilarious and talks about all of his issues.
Because he's on cocaine the whole
Because
time.
he's on coke and amphetamines the whole time.
Right?
But Derek Thomas was actually he was a great guy. That was
Everybody
bad,
said
bad
he was
loss.
phenomenal. Yeah.
Have you watched the Football Life documentary on Derek Thomas?
Yeah, I have.
I did not.
Yep.
Excellent work. Excellent work. NFL Films, that is their best series ever.
It is.
Football Life.
It's actually getting to know those people personally. Yeah, it is. That you're right.
One of my favorites is Kevin Green.
That's a great story. You're right. I've actually I record them all, so I watch them over and over. Not probably as much as you do, but I do when I don't have because I hate TV now. Most of it sucks, but some of those things are great. You should watch that, Kyle. That is interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Kevin Green, he is one of the more underrated pass rushers of the modern generation, and I can't believe he's dead.
Yeah, that's kind of amazing. How did he die?
I believe it was a heart attack or a corona, one of the two.
Well, that could
Stopped
be
breathing.
That could be linked. That could be linked to both. I mean, coronavirus and all that could be linked together. Then,
Well, yeah, but like it was health issues of some kind, I believe.
God,
But
that sucks. I didn't. I
Yeah, he was
guess I knew
like-
that. I probably forgot.
he's a legend, man, and I loved. I mean, that energy is just so infectious, and the raw emotion he showed when he talked about his brother. And
Well,
Dad.
dude, he was that guy. So you know what I love about I before the Colts were here, we were Steelers fans, right? And the Steelers represents. There's like a representation. I think Jim Irsay was trying to build that for the shoe, right? He always talks about for the shoe, where the Steelers.
Right.
It's like Kevin Green fit into that, like that Pittsburgh, all that that grit and grind. That he was never too high,
Bill
never too
Cowher
low.
style.
Yes,
Yep.
and I mean that's what's so funny when you got somebody like Antonio Brown there that doesn't belong. It's like, dude, you don't get it. We're all for one and one for all. It's kind of like Ted Lasso.
Steelers have gone away from that a little bit.
Yeah, they
I
have.
would argue, and
Well,
that's why
it
they
started-
are as successful.
You're
It
probably
started
true.
to fade when they lost. Who was the linebacker that was there for 105 years?
Shazier.
No.
Oh, you mean the defensive end, the big guy?
Yeah, that was
Who was that
that
monster?
set the tone for
Number
everything.
99, Kirkland.
No, not Kirkland. God, what is his name? He was playing at 45 years old or whatever he
What?
was. Yeah, he's still in the NFL in his mid 40s.
Who would that have been? John, come on, man. This is you, bud.
Oh goodness. I'm trying to think.
Always
here.
talking about how intense he was, and his workouts were just insane. He's benching
You're not
1,000
talking about Aaron
pounds.
Donald, are you?
No. This
Oh,
Pittsburgh.
James Harrison.
Harrison.
James
that's it.
Harrison.
James Harrison. When he left, I felt like what you're talking about with Pittsburgh, it started to fade because that guy was just.
What they? Well, and
It
well,
was
even
go 100%. It was balls to
Palomalu.
the wall.
Palomalu.
Yeah.
Same thing, man. They
Well,
have
Harrison was there.
right together.
I
Yeah.
would. You want to know a cool creator that kind of documented the year I think that it started really going haywire? So one of my favorite. Okay, you're gonna laugh when you hear the name of this guy's YouTube channel. It's Urinating Tree.
It's Urinating Tree.
Yes.
I think he's brilliant.
He
can come on
did a series.
anytime. He can come on anytime.
He did a series called Days of Our Steelers on the 2017 season. That was the year Le'Veon Bell held out.
Oh,
Yep.
God.
That was the year they lost to the Jaguars in the divisional round.
Yeah.
Yep.
And right before AB left for the Raiders.
Yep.
And it's hilarious. He's a Steelers fan.
Right.
So he's mocking his own team and how bad it is. And
I'll
that's
have
what
to
makes
look
it
that
even
up.
better. But it's hilarious. Days of Our Steelers. Fantastic. Cannot recommend it enough how hilarious it is.
That's awesome.
But I think that year just showed the Killer Bees took over and not the team. And that's kind
Sure.
of what the Steelers were team first. They were Chuck Noll for so long.
Right.
Right.
And that's gone. I don't think Mike Tomlin has kind of gone away from the Chuck Noll
I
approach.
think he's kind of lost it. I think he's kind of lost where he went. I think he's more people's friend than their coach anymore. I mean, he used to be a pretty badass dude, and now I'm just kind of like, you're not as intimidating
Yeah.
as you used to be. And I'm sure those guys read that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, he's definitely become more of a player's coach.
Sure, absolutely.
But that's I don't know. The Steelers are a fascinating team. Their history is so rich. And
Lynn Swann, my guy. Lynn Swann was my first favorite hero.
that's awesome. Lynn Swann was amazing.
He was.
Very underrated.
Very.
You think underrated?
Bradshaw, the whole Bradshaw Knoll feud. My word.
Right.
That's a documentary in of itself, I think.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, because how long
and-
did Bradshaw stay away? 30
Yeah.
years is forever.
What?
And he still won't talk about Chuck Noll.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I don't know any
Oh
of
yeah,
this.
that's huge.
How do I not know any of this?
You're not a Steelers fan.
Not a Steelers fan.
My son is a super fan.
They drive me
So
nuts because I used to be
hear
on that
about it-
bandwagon.
I hear about it all the time. He's, when they traded away Minka, I heard about it.
Stupid, man. I can't. How about that trade? How about that new trade?
We talked about this today.
Minka Fitzpatrick for Jalen Ramsey?
Yes.
Are you out of your mind?
Jalen Ramsey makes your cornerbacks better, and Minka hasn't been an all-star for 3 years because he's been mediocre or hurt.
Or disgruntled.
Well, hear me out. Jalen Ramsey slides into safety.
That
Hey,
could
talk
be.
to Kyle for a minute. I got to use the restroom here, but I want to hear this because did you just say move him to safety?
Yeah.
Ooh, I like it. Hold on. Talk to Kyle. Kyle's always interesting, Mr. Excitement over there.
I am Mr. Excitement. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. So, yeah.
No, I actually don't mind Minka getting traded. I did like Minka very much, but like we talked about earlier today, he has fallen into kind of a mediocrity, and he hasn't been the same since that all-star season. And when he's not playing mediocre football, he's playing hurt football. And
Yeah,
that's
what a lot of Steelers fans are saying.
And it sucks to say it. I mean, because he was a fan favorite, is a fan favorite. But
you want to know what's crazy, though? You want to know what's crazy about this trade? He is going back to the team that he wanted to get out of.
Right. Yeah, the team that he was desperate to leave, he's going back to.
Who's that?
Exactly.
Miami? Who? Go hit me. I'm back.
Minka
Okay.
is
Where's he going back? He's going back to where?
The team that he wanted so desperately to get out of, that he fought tooth and nail to leave, he's going right back.
I don't even remember who the trade is with. I don't know who Ramsey's. Who was he with?
He was Ramsey was with the Dolphins.
Dolphins.
That's what I thought. So he's good. Yes, that's okay. Yep.
This is the fourth player for player trade between these two franchises in the last 35 years.
Why do you think that is? That sounds ridiculous.
Because FU Miami. Because FU to any team that's in Florida is
because they're both terrible.
No, I just say FU to any team.
Well, the
in Florida.
thing is, one of these trades included Minka.
Right.
Twice.
Right.
I'm trying to figure out why I liked him. I liked him a lot.
No, I did too.
I think Jalen Ramsey's probably, if he goes to safety, Ooh, that's intriguing. That becomes a fun story to watch.
Because LA experimented with it when they won the Super Bowl. And then Miami kind of experimented with it as well. And I think that what the Steelers are thinking is they're going to slide Ramsey into safety. They're going to have Porter Jr. and Slay on the edges.
Oof.
And maybe someone else in the slot.
Then they don't need a quarterback because they don't have one. They're screwed. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, the guy's about as wacky as it gets, man.
I will say, in his defense, Aaron Rodgers, since he has become a Steeler, sounds different.
Yeah, he does sound different.
Oh, I haven't heard a thing. I haven't heard it. So he's ready.
He's toned down. He says this is his last season. He wants to play for a cornerstone franchise, and he just sounds like he's ready to go. He's calm. He doesn't sound like he has when he was with the Jets.
Yeah, when he was with the Jets, he sounded off.
I don't know why he wanted to be with them. That was a shitty franchise. I mean, that's almost like taking a step back. He wanted out of
Green Bay.
It was awful.
Because Green Bay wouldn't give him the contract he wanted.
Well, I don't know that. I hate saying it, but I don't know that he could have outplayed Jordan Love.
Well, I mean,
they wanted
Jordan Love is going to be
chance.
stinking good,
dude. If anything, like we were talking about before, talking about quarterbacks getting drafted, if there is a prime example, a prime study of how you should do it, right? So Brett Favre doesn't leave, and Rodgers sits on the bench for 2 years. For 2 years,
and he hates on Aaron Rodgers the whole time,
right? And he ends up being ungodly. He's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Love, who they moved up to get, I was like, whatever. He sits on the bench for 2 years. I mean, why don't people understand that these kids come in, the first round picks, sign a 5-year deal?
Money.
But it's a 5-year deal. So what?
The thing is, they were approaching the end of that 5-year deal. That's why they let Rodgers go.
Sure. That's exactly right. They wanted to see what they had because they knew if he came out and played, they were going to have to pay him, right? You lost him.
Hello?
He's out. They lost him. Go ahead and hit it real quick.
But we're back.
Yep, we're back. We're falling.
I don't know if my phone dropped or yours, but Jason actually got a call from one of his daughters, so he ran to see what was going on. But
no, it's fine.
No, finish your thought.
So yeah, I think I would say that Jordan Love, the Packers wanted to see what they had in him.
Absolutely.
And then, okay, hear me out. I argue that the project is worth it. No team these days wants to do a project, right? Sure. Everyone wants it to be immediate success, right? Everyone wants the first round pick to go instantly, boom or bust. Where's the project in it? Okay, let's take Kansas City, for example. I'm going to take the Chiefs here.
Yeah.
Jeez, I thought he didn't like what we were talking about, so he jumped out.
Yeah, maybe.
Let's take the Chiefs, for example, here. Let's say Andy Reid doesn't get Alex Smith.
Yeah.
Let's say they don't have this veteran presence in when Mahomes was drafted in 2017, right?
Right.
Well, they moved up to do that. They didn't have the 7th pick. They moved up.
Yeah, they moved up. They did. But let's just say they don't have Alex Smith. Mahomes does not get the mentoring needed. And guess what? What the difference between Alex Smith and Aaron Rodgers is. Alex Smith took it like a champ, mentored Mahomes for a year, did not complain. Rodgers hated it.
Right.
Yeah, Rodgers is a little bit of a. I mean, if you watched, wasn't there a 30 for 30 on him? It was about the draft. It was actually about the draft that he had to sit there the whole time. He was a dick.
Well,
I mean, he comes off as one. He always
ask his dad.
Yeah, I mean he's a dick.
The ironic part about this little twist, I just thought about it. Those two quarterbacks, Alex Smith and Aaron Rodgers, were the biggest quarterbacks in that draft.
Oh yeah,
Alex Smith was a big guy.
No, biggest like name.
Oh no,
right?
He's talking
big
about.
Name.
You're talking
big about name. Big name. Yeah.
Yeah, Alex Smith was huge.
Yeah. Right.
when coming into the pros, he was touted as a huge quarterback prospect.
Yeah.
And that's why the Niners took him as high as they did.
Right.
And then, of course, Rodgers sits there for a long time. I have to wonder if Rodgers is somewhat
thankful.
He feels like Brett Favre type thing, where he just feels like his job is threatened, and he doesn't like that feeling.
Well, dude, think about Brett Favre. This is a rabbit hole we go down for hours. Brett Favre got drafted in the second round, right, by the Falcons. Never played.
No, because Glanville's a jackass.
Well, I mean, either way, he didn't play.
Nope.
Right. Well, yeah.
Glanville hated his gut.
Yeah. Yeah, Glanville was a dick to him.
Well, that's fine, but he never played, so he's got 2 years, same type of thing, and he ends up in Green. I mean,
well, you got to wonder because actually the compare contrast, Alex Smith was drafted by the 49ers and put in immediately. And Aaron had to sit 2 years, and Alex ended up being great, but he didn't get to the level.
Hall of Famer.
Right, he's not a Hall of Famer, but would he have been, because he had such a surge late in his career.
He did, you're right. And then he got hurt.
Right. But so would he have benefited from those 2 years?
I don't know. John, what were you going to say? Sorry. Kyle gets a little talkative and cuts people off. He does this all the time. He's got his shirt off right now. He's so intense. It's crazy.
It's warm down here.
Make sure you watch the YouTube video. Kyle gets all sexy. You can see his tattoo.
Right.
Kyle, I kind of agree with you, man. Like, think about this. Like, Aaron Rodgers gets 2 years to sit and, even if Brett Favre hates him or whatever and doesn't really mentor him, if the claims are true.
You're still watching it, though. You're still watching it, and you're in the same room with the champion.
Sure. Yeah, you're still watching him. You're still learning. You're soaking up everything. Meanwhile, Alex Smith, he flames out immediately, and people hate him. But then Jim Harbaugh comes in. He trusts him. He believes him. Alex Smith has that great 2011 postseason run.
Right.
And
that's what we're going to get with Danny Dimes. Just saying.
Quit cutting him off, Kyle.
My fault.
Every time he put his kid to bed, his wife is pregnant. He's doing the right thing, jumping on with us, and you keep cutting him off.
I keep cutting him off. My fault.
John, I'm sorry about that. Kyle's a dick.
You're fine.
He's selfish.
I am selfish. I'm sorry.
So Smith gets hurt with a concussion, right?
Yep.
And then he gets his job taken away because Colin Kaepernick immediately flashes.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like serious flash in the pan.
I hated that so much because I'm an Alex Smith fan. I hated that.
But you know what the biggest thing Alex Smith going forward for the rest of his life will be able to do? He wasn't successful once. And this is how I determine success. So we all have real jobs, right? So if you work for one company and you make their president's club or whatever,
right,
like 5 times in a row, can you duplicate that at another company and another company? If you can, you're a fucking superstar, right?
Sure.
The same thing with Alex Smith. So he did it with San Francisco.
Yep.
He goes to Kansas City and gets forced out.
Yep.
And then he ends up doing well at Washington. He's kind of like who's the guy from Michigan State that was with the Atlanta Falcons? Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
I mean, Kirk Cousins. Everywhere he's gone, it's kind of amazing. But so then do you say that Alex Smith is actually better than Aaron Rodgers because he did it? Because Aaron Rodgers left. I mean, when you're in the same system, they build around you.
Right.
And you get the weapons. They understand. When you move to another, you have to learn the system. You have to do it. Aaron Rodgers, they knew.
Right.
And they built around him. He went to the Super Bowl. I mean, so who's better? Who's actually better?
I mean, like, Alex Smith had a career year in 2017, the year before Mahomes took off.
Right.
And then, of course, Mahomes, the rest is history. And I think that was the plan all along anyway. But it's just fascinating to see.
So Andy Reid's a genius. Andy Reid's an absolute genius then.
Yeah, he is. I would not agree more. He saw something in Alex Smith. He knew that's who he wanted to be his quarterback immediately. That's why they traded for him. And, I mean, he did what he could. As much as it broke my heart that we lose to Andrew Luck on a dumb fumble.
Hey. We own you guys. We own you. You remember the Pete Stoyanovich pull to the left in 95?
Oh, goodness.
Were you old enough? Were you old enough to remember that one?
I didn't see it, no, live. But,
and Pete Stoyanovich is an IU guy.
Lynn Elliott, there's 2 words that will be banned in my vocabulary.
What's that?
Lynn Elliott.
What was that? What'd he do?
He missed 4 field goals against y'all.
Oh, yeah. That's why I don't remember him, because he lost. Yeah, and dude, nobody remembers that name except you guys because he missed 4 field goals. Right. I mean, that is
the only one
he was intimidated by.
The only one that's better is Norwood.
All right, well, Norwood, man,
wide right,
dude.
Or the Vikings kicker against the Falcons in '99.
That's awful.
Oh, yes,
that was the Vikings were the best team in the league that year. With the deep with Moss, that was tragic.
Yep.
So I know why you know the breakdown of. I know why you know the breakdown of the Kansas City Chiefs and Alex Smith and Pat Mahomes. I was like, man, he knows a lot about that. It's a homer.
Hey, I at least I try to be as unbiased as possible. I don't think you hear it on the show.
No, you're good. I'm joking, dude. I would have never guessed you as any of that. Talking to you now, it's even more fun because it's obvious you do a lot more research than I do. Did you ever play? I mean, did you play in Kansas when you never played? You're just one of those guys that sops it up like a biscuit and gravy.
Mm-hmm.
Like that analogy?
Biscuit and gravy.
I did like that analogy.
That's a Tennessee analogy.
I've got a fun thought for you. This is something I talked with my son the other day about. I don't know if I said anything to you one of the first times we talked, but one of the big quarterbacks in the league, now I can't say his name. What's his
Lamar?
face? Yes. Did
Lamar
we talk
Jackson?
about it? Did we talk about it? Lamar Jackson, how good of a quarterback he is now, right? And you see this improvement.
Yes.
Every year he is a better passer, correct?
I don't know. I don't follow him that.
Okay. That's a fact. He's a better passer every year.
I'll take John's word for it.
Yeah.
And when he won the MVP a few years ago that he should not have won, as far as I'm concerned, did that
2019?
Yeah. Did that retard his development as a quarterback? Did that slow him down? I think it did.
I think that's a complex situation.
I think the MVP showed him that running is still good. I don't need to be that accurate of a passer. And then he failed a couple times and said, never mind, I've really got to work on my passing game. And I wonder if the MVP slowed it down just a little bit, like maybe put him a year off.
I'd argue Baltimore let him run too much.
Sure. No, that's a good argument too.
They did that with luck. We did that with luck. Go ahead.
Yeah, you did that with luck. Like, goodness, Lamar's just athletic enough. He doesn't get injured because he doesn't get hit as much.
Right.
But with Lamar, I would argue Baltimore said, "Hey, be yourself. We're not going to put a leash on this. You're too good." So they did it. But then when they lose to the Titans, they're like, "Okay, maybe we need to rethink this."
Well, I mean, that's and you do. That's what you do as any athletic is you dance with two brung you.
Coach to realize what he needs to do to improve.
Harbaugh is underrated, man.
Was it Harbaugh that realized it though, or was it Lamar?
Or both.
Well, okay, it's probably a tandem. I agree, but I'm just wondering how much that realization Lamar had. Like, I've got to
absolutely. I would agree
I have
that Lamar
got to get better.
Realized it.
Yeah,
he's one of the greats.
Sure.
I mean, if you're not a great if you don't want to improve, and if you don't improve, we saw this with Josh Allen, right? He wasn't great his first couple of years.
Right.
Everyone thought he was going to be a bust, and all of a sudden, look at it.
I didn't either. I thought he was going to be great. I was such a fan.
There was something about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like the first couple of years.
Awful. They were. Yeah, he wasn't great.
So was Peyton. Peyton was actually.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
that first game Peyton had ever. That was awful.
Oh yeah, it was awful.
But it's what his first pass though, his first touchdown pass.
It was an interception.
Well, that's
right.
His first offensive touchdown pass.
The one that the points counted for.
Marvin Harrison is Marvin Harrison.
Yeah.
Very interesting. And I think.
Okay. Yeah, let me ask you this: are the Colts any good if Peyton Manning does not have Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne?
Yeah, I think they are. Yep.
Yeah, I think he was.
He made Blair White. He made some superstars. He made Dallas Clark almost a Hall of Famer. He was that good. He was transformative.
I think he's one of those guys, that old adage that if you're great, you make the people around you even better. And I
would agree with that.
And I think Marvin's a Hall of Fame talent. I don't know that I think Reggie was a Hall of Fame talent.
Oh, get out of here.
Without Peyton.
Oh,
Reggie's better than Marvin.
Oh, no, I don't agree with that at
Reggie's
all.
a better receiver than Marvin was.
I don't agree with that at all.
Absolutely. What do you think, John? This is an interesting conversation because
Jason's wrong.
No, it's because people have said that to me because I look at Tom Brady, and is Tom Brady? People say he's the greatest quarterback ever because he won 7 Super Bowls. I think he was in a system that was amazing. He learned it and he became a master at it. I think if Peyton Manning is in a system like that, I'm not a big Tony Dungy guy. Everybody else might be, but
I love the dude.
Do what?
I love Tony Dungy.
Well, I mean, I like him, the man he is, but I think, dude, he had the best team in the league. And let's be honest, and I hate to say this, the best team he ever had was when his son committed suicide. And that was so sad.
The best team was the 1999 Bucks.
Well, the best team he had in Indianapolis was the year that Edgerrin was his final year here.
Right.
And it was going to be amazing. And I mean, it's just tragic. I mean, it's tragic that happened.
You don't like the 2005 team?
Which team's the one that won it all?
No, 2005, the year you all went 15-1. You all lost to the Steelers at home.
Right.
I knew. I was at that game. It broke my heart. I didn't like that they sat. I thought you don't put a lid on momentum.
Right.
You don't do that. And I love the team, but the next year's team was the exact same team. That's the one
Dungy
I'm talking about.
Like if you read his autobiography, Dungy totally says that they needed 2005
to end up winning it.
Yes.
Well,
they needed 2005 to hit them and slap in the face to get them to realize something.
Well, I might need to read his book then, because like I said, that's kind of like the Atlanta Braves deal, but yeah, it's a sad subject. At least we won one. I can say that when I die, all the teams that I love.
I think it'll come back.
I think it will too.
I think it'll
Danny
come back.
Dimes, man, you know.
He's not going to lead us to a Super Bowl, but I do think that he is going to surprise people.
Going back to Danny Dimes, I didn't finish my thought there.
Okay.
Danny, I think, is going to be okay in this system, right? Yeah. I don't think he will be at all. He's not going to be a Mahomes. He's not going to be an Allen. You don't need him to be. If you need, you have a running game for a reason. You have Jonathan Taylor, DJ Giddens. You don't need all the pressure on the quarterback.
Right.
So if Steichen goes passing this year, that's his fault.
No, you're right.
You have a tandem. You have a tandem in your backfield that can easily get you yards. Jonathan Taylor had 1,000 yards before his career. Why not use that bell cow that's fully healthy, and he can have DJ Giddens sub in and sub out for different situations. So I would say Danny Dimes has every opportunity to be good. He has every opportunity to make you guys a good, solid offense. Because he doesn't need to. What y'all need is an Alex Smith. You don't need to for him to be great all the time.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
3 or 4 throws.
Trent Dilfer.
If you can hit the 3 or 4 throws, you're going to win a game.
Dude, what Trent Dilfer?
Solid offense, and your defense can rise up.
Well, if the defense, they can figure it out. I will ask you this, man. I'm valuing your opinion more and more as we talk, which shouldn't mean anything to you. You're kind of like, who are you, dude? You're a baseball guy, so shut up, right? So the Chris Ballard era, put your stamp on it. What do you think it is? Because I've got an opinion on it.
I think it's very mixed. When Ballard left, I hated it because he was so good as a scout in KC.
Okay,
right.
I think he's gotten a little too comfortable.
Big in his britches, cocky, arrogant. Yes.
No, comfortable. He's just comfortable.
Right.
He doesn't think he's going to leave anytime soon. He thinks he has a project. But every time he thinks he has the project, it gets reshuffled.
Right. That's exactly you're exact, dude. You hit that square on the nuts, man. That's probably what's been swirling around in my mind about his era, and I couldn't put it into words. You're absolutely right.
Because let's think about this. You all had that team with Carson Wentz, right? You all should have made the playoffs.
He would have been good. He would have been.
Yeah.
I think that trade was a good one too.
I do too.
I think he would have been great had he not gotten hurt.
For you all.
Yeah.
He was good, and then you all had that slide at the very end of the season. I don't know if you all watched the Hard Knocks in season on that, but that was very enlightening. In terms of how that season just went downhill so quickly. And
then they blamed Wentz because he wouldn't get his vaccination or whatever.
I would blame. It's not all in Wentz.
No, I don't think so either.
I would say it's a combination of factors. Because I love nuance, I love perspective. It's a combination of factors. You can't just say it's one person, because if you blame one person for an entire team, you're focusing on the wrong thing.
Oh yeah.
Well, and you're making excuses.
Well, and you're saying, okay, this one guy is responsible for the downfall of an entire 53-man roster.
Right.
You can't say that.
Yeah, nobody's that important.
Nobody.
Not
even a quarterback.
No one is that important.
Position in the game, you can't say it. You can't say that, because if you do, then even if it's the most important position in the game, then you just need to.
So what do you attribute it to?
I would attribute it to coaching, quarterback, defense, and coordinators.
Okay, break it down quickly on each, because Frank Reich, you remember Frank Reich came in and everybody thought, holy shit, he's amazing. He is terrible. He's terrible.
I think he's also kept Arians.
He's just terrible.
He's a great coordinator, just not a great
That's
head
right.
coach.
He's terrible. You're right. The arrogance, I think he got a little, and I'm faith driven.
Y'all should have kept Bruce Arians.
Yes. Well, here's the problem. Bruce Arians.
I have so much respect for Bruce Arians.
I love Bruce Arians, and if Bruce Arians sticks around with Andrew Luck, he doesn't retire, in my opinion, because Bruce Arians. The problem is you couldn't fire a guy with cancer.
Nope.
And that put, and I hate to say that, all the real fans in Indianapolis realized that Bruce Arians was unbelievable, and he showed it when he went to Arizona.
Yep.
I love. Okay. Quick tangent. Do you all know the series All or Nothing on Prime?
No,
yeah.
I don't.
One of my favorite series of television, quote unquote. It is basically an in-season documentary of teams that Amazon has done.
Okay.
They do soccer and they do NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Their first ever NFL season, the 2015 Arizona Cardinals.
Really? Yeah, that'd be interesting.
I love that. That's my favorite NFL season of it.
Well,
you get to see Bruce Arians, and I tell you what, Bruce Arians, I love that. I love that guy.
Well, he finally got his due, when he was with Tampa Bay and won it all. And I swear to you, I'll go to my grave thinking that everybody in Indianapolis knew Chuck Pagano wasn't the answer. Bruce Arians, because he took that team 11-3, right? Chuck Pagano goes down, he takes that team 11-3. Chuck comes back for the playoffs.
Well,
right.
The thing is, I don't know what y'all's thoughts on Jim Irsay are. Irsay is more of a softie than you would think.
No, he is. You're absolutely right. Absolutely, he is actually. A lot gets lost in him, and I listened to your podcast about him when he died. He is exactly opposite of his dad, because I think his dad was a crazy man. So my dad hung around with a guy that was associated with the Colts. He was a vice president. He was associated with the Colts from the day they left Baltimore. So I kind of know a backstory that a lot of people don't know about it. But Robert Irsay was he wanted to fire, and Jim saw this. Jim grew up with all this, and the one thing Bob did do right is what Jim did with his daughter that's going to end up running it. Is Jim had to start at the bottom, like he was sweeping the locker room, he was picking up jock straps, he was then the GM. I mean, we had some bad years, but Jim knew football, and his philanthropical shit here in the city is amazing.
Amazing.
So he's a bigger loss than the NFL, most NFL people know, but it'd be interesting to watch his daughter, who's going to run at the oldest one, because she's got the headset on. He did the same thing, man. He put her through the ringer. She could be great. She could be amazing. Yeah. But I did listen to your podcast about it.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're good.
I was going to say, he has a reputation for being a hard person. And he's not.
Nope.
I mean, go read Tony Dungy's book again. Going back to Tony Dungy. In his book, he talks about a voicemail. It is a 5 to 8 minute voicemail, I believe, that he leaves on Tony Dungy's phone, telling him exactly why he wants him to be a Colt.
Oh yeah,
and not just because he's a great football person, but he details why he's a great person, why he wants him to be a good philanthropic person. He feels like Dungy would be a good culture person, that the culture needs changing. He feels like Irsay just gained so much respect, and then how he treated Dungy when Dungy lost his son.
Right.
Goodness, Irsay. I know people. I know he went insane the last couple of years.
Right. Well, yeah.
Right.
Irsay to me, I know why you all love him, and
yeah, he's trying to build planes to ferry an orca to Alaska. Did you know that?
No. What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about, John?
Yes.
Yeah. They were gonna euthanize it?
Mm-hmm.
They were going to euthanize it, and Irsay heard about it, and he said, no, I'll just buy a plane, and we'll outfit it so it can be basically a flying aquarium, and we'll fly this orca to Alaska so it can live and be free.
Yeah.
That's the kind of guy he was.
Yeah.
They ended up finding another way, but he was ready to do it. He was just going to pull the trigger. That to me is amazing.
Isn't that kind of I've got too much money type thing?
I don't know. I
mean, I love it. If I had the money, that's what I told my wife.
Kind of heart.
I told my wife this is no kidding. I said, if we get on the Pitch podcast, I think we can go big time and then make a lot of money. And I just want to be rich to help other people.
Right.
Did you catch that? You're laughing.
Right.
Dude, you're bigger than we are, bud. I love it.
PitchGrid blows us up, and then we all retire. And all we do is podcast.
Hey, we're putting it on you, bro. Hey, we do this to everybody we bring in.
This is your fault.
We bring everybody in. Like, you better promote this, man. You're out. I got 2 questions. So I got one more. Do you have something too?
Yeah, I've got a bone to pick.
Let me do my first question. Okay. Actually, I'll wait. My first question is, so the Colts' future going forward, I want to hear it from you who is now, because of our 13 extra listeners, a legend. Go.
Colts' future. Tigan needs to prove himself in the next couple of years. If he does not, he's probably gone. Now, I also would argue that Ballard is probably going to be gone as well.
Yeah.
And especially if the draft does not pan out.
Right.
Now, I would say a little bit unfair because his defensive drafting has been solid. But, I still don't like that one cornerback they drafted this year. I still think that was a weird pick.
The kid from Minnesota.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Third round.
Yeah. And we've got a new owner that may want to put her stamp on the franchise.
She's not going to do it right away. She's not keeping Ballard. She loves Ballard.
Okay.
Loves him.
She loves. Okay, I don't think she would fire Ballard. She might fire Steichen.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's true too.
Well, he's supposed to be the quarterback whisperer. We're supposed to have 2 in a row.
He's not shown it yet.
Right. He has not.
He has not shown that yet.
Well, I'm gonna ask you real quick. You talked about Ballard's defensive picks. Do you understand that every year, this is my biggest beef, every year in the first 2 rounds, one of the picks is a rush guy, a pass rusher. Yeah. And we have not had none of them in 9 years. None of them. Our defensive line is not dominant like it should be. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Something like that. 8 to 10. I know it's close. But our defensive line is sometimes dominant, sometimes not, but we do not get a pass rush at all. And he's wasted all those. A Dangbo was supposed to be amazing. In the top 3 rounds, he always picks somebody that can go get the passer and hasn't hit on one of them. Where Polian hit on Dwight Freeney and an undrafted free agent, which is ridiculous.
Polian is brilliant, man.
He is brilliant.
Polian was a brilliant mind.
He is brilliant.
I wish I could pick his brain because he has some incredible stuff. But yeah, future Steichen needs to prove in the next couple of years, or else he's gone.
Right.
I really do think so, because even if he has a project in mind, the NFL is not going to wait around for a project, despite what I think about that.
Right.
So y'all need Richardson needs to prove himself, or Steichen needs to prove himself, and Steichen's gone if Richardson can't prove himself either. Now I do think the defense is underrated in some areas. I think y'all are not going to maybe. The thing is, y'all could be good, y'all could be bad. I don't know exactly.
Right.
That's the problem. You don't know exactly with this Colts team. If they lean into 3 or 4 throws for Danny Dimes that are important throws, y'all will be okay. Y'all just need to play good defense. You all need to be the Chiefs from 2013 to 2017. Play good defense, make 3 or 4 important throws, and you're good.
And run the football. And run the football.
And run the football down their throat.
Right. Yeah. Kyle, give him your beef, and then I'm going to ask him my last question.
Okay. Well, the beef is actually a little covered territory, but I want Jason involved with the conversation. So a few weeks ago, top 5 wide receivers all time. His number 5, Michael Irvin.
Yes,
mine?
Sir.
Hey, yours.
Mine.
Yours?
Yep.
You really? Who was 4? Who was?
I don't know.
Who are the rest?
I knew what 5 was.
Who are the rest?
I had Michael Irvin. I'm going to go look now. Michael Irvin. I had Steve Largent. I had Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, and who is number 4? Can't remember who number 4 was right off the top of my head.
Why Steve Largent?
Steve Largent was the record. He had all the records.
Hold on. But I want to hear your. I mean, in a league that the athleticism, Steve Largent didn't possess it. I mean, I like it. I like him.
He did.
I did. But why him over? Let me think. Why him over Lynn Swann? Is it the records?
Okay.
Is it the longevity?
How about being a Seattle icon that held all the records? Also, he caught balls with his bare hands and was the Jerry Rice and Larry Fitzgerald before Larry Fitzgerald existed. Not only that, he changed Seattle football forever.
Forever.
And Lynn Swann, while he was great, he had help. He had other people to.
He had a good quarterback.
Stallworth.
Yeah.
Well,
Stallworth
is unbelievable.
Dude, that's a great story how they got Stallworth in that same draft. That draft was amazing. That's an amazing draft.
But yeah, my big thing is
number 4 was T.O.
Okay. Really? No way. I'll never put that guy on any list.
That guy's one of the greatest receivers of all time.
He's better than Megatron. Megatron
because you've got
is
longevity.
The most underrated.
Okay.
Dude, he quit because he was done.
Kyle, to answer your beef.
Yeah.
Michael Irvin has put his stamp on the modern receiver game. I would argue that his legacy for Justin Jefferson, for T.O., for Jamar Chase, you cannot deny that he is what the modern receiver is.
Well, what's the modern receiver then? What sets those guys apart from...
The modern receiver can have soft hands, is fast, and is a dependable target for the quarterback.
Man, we could do this all day.
Oh, we could
I was a receiver.
I thought it would be such a fun conversation.
I think
Irvin's maybe top 20.
I think Megatron plays with somebody. Megatron did what Barry Sanders did. Is he quit early because they sucked.
Megatron fits to me, are awesome. They would barely miss the cut. I almost put Fitz on this list instead of Irvin. But why Irvin went in is because we do not know the full extent of Fitz's legacy. We do not know the full extent of Megatron's legacy.
You can't base it on
Yet
that.
we know the
What about Larry
legacy of Michael
Fitzgerald? Do you think you think if Larry Fitzgerald, here's how I do this. And I'm not, obviously this isn't, we're not mad or anything
No,
like
this
that.
is just a fun conversation.
But, I mean, you got to look at who's around. He had Troy Aikman, dude. I mean, Larry Fitzgerald played with a bunch of nobodies, minus Kurt Warner, who I think shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame for 4 great years, or Terrell Davis. I don't think either one of them should be in the Hall of Fame because they had 4 great years.
Okay. Yes, you can argue he had Troy Aikman. But why would you discount the pure talent that Michael Irvin had?
I thought he was great in college, dude. I remember when he played. I thought he was great in college, but if I do a top 5, it is 5 people that are absolutely amazing. And he's
what's your criterion for that?
I mean, he's a
criterion for that.
I mean, he's a Hall of Famer for sure, but I don't put him in the top 5. I don't put
Super Bowl champion.
Well, that has to do with the fact that Herschel Walker was traded for a boatload of shit. That I mean, hey, this is a hell of a callback, but I mean, we could do 2 hours on this, and I'd love it. But that team was built different. I mean, that Dallas team that Dallas era may have been the greatest teams ever assembled.
Jimmy Johnson wanted him for a reason. You want Michael Irvin for a reason.
Oh, absolutely.
And not only is
I think he gave them. Well, he gave them some anger that the team didn't have.
He had Miami swagger, man. Yeah. You're going to bring in your guys.
Michael Irvin paved the way for trash talk so T.O. could do it. So Chad Ochocinco could do it. So Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson can talk their smack.
Okay. No, I agree completely. My next thing would be the T.O. I think T.O. is one of the most he's probably a Hall of Famer, but I think he's one of the most overrated receivers of all time. But
fair. You can say that.
I mean, it is what it is.
We can disagree.
I love it.
If you're going to be a numbers guy, though, he's not.
That's it. I think a lot of times the greats are designed by numbers, right? And
well, sure, like Jerry Rice.
Yeah, Jerry Rice, I don't think was the greatest receiver of all time based on his talent and abilities. He had longevity, played with some great dudes, and he was good. I mean, he's great because you have to be great to play that long. That leads me into the final question then, John. The final question is a baseball question.
Ooh, I love it.
Pete Rose.
Baseball was my first love. I love it.
Pete Rose. Obviously he should be in. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Why do you think they waited so long to do it? I mean, they basically waited. Dude's dead, and as soon as his grave is dug, they're like, yeah, he's eligible now. What do you think about that whole situation? Because I am a Reds fan.
Bud Selig did not want to. Bud Selig is an old guy who did not want to break precedent. And Rob Manfred is basically a coward who didn't want to break that precedent, even though he's broken precedent.
It was the same thing. He did the same thing with Galarraga on that perfect game.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
You know, Bud Selig didn't want to do it, so I'm not going to do it either. Why?
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the worst calls I've ever seen in baseball.
Right.
And even the umpire that called it said it's one of the worst calls I've ever made.
Right.
Period. And they won't do it. So I think Pete, same thing. They're all cowards.
But Pete Rose, to me, the stigma and part of it is people, the commissioners particularly, do not want that kind of PR.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They don't want to have a guy like Pete Rose, who, yes, was an icon, was a legend, and will always be one of the greats of baseball. However, his dealings off the field
were bad.
Will mar it, and then you get into the rabbit hole of, Barry Bonds.
Right, you're right.
Wire.
I knew you were going to go there. You're right.
It's gonna go into a spiral now, and I think that's what they want to keep the lid on.
Well, and it always ends up where would these guys be that great if they weren't doing what they were doing? You know what I mean? Like Bonds and McGuire and that kind of thing. Would they be that great? That's always going to be the great question. The last thing is my sidebar to Pete Rose is, so Pete Rose is the hit king. He's got more hits than anybody. Played for 24 years, right? Something like that.
Right.
is he the greatest hitter of all time? Or was he great enough? Was he great enough to, I mean, does that make him the greatest hitter, that he was good enough for that many years that he could stick around and do it?
Stats alone don't make it. I would say there's a variety of stats, and there's a lot of things that are variables that you could throw into the scenario, and I don't think you could ever say perfectly. And that's the thing with these lists. You never know, because each era is different. That's why I have a problem with the GOAT conversation.
Right. Me too.
I don't like saying someone is the GOAT.
No.
Because no one is a GOAT in all of history. Because then you're going to say, okay, well, he's better than this person. If you throw him in this era, he would be amazing. Well, maybe, but we don't know.
Right.
If you threw LT, LaDainian Tomlinson, into the Jim Brown era, would he be great?
Right. Or would he be fragile? Would he, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Or vice versa. If you throw Jim Brown into today's NFL, would he be great?
I think greatness rises, and I think it doesn't matter era, who's around. I think greatness rises.
I argue it's eras.
Ooh.
Oh, no.
This is going to be part two.
Yeah, that would be
Kyle
a good
just
one
took his shirt off and put his head through my wall. Way to go, John. This is where the crazy comes out of Kyle.
I truly feel like greatness rises. I feel like those people you say Babe Ruth wouldn't do what he did. I've had that argument before, and I feel like
if he was born in this era, he would have adjusted to this era.
That's what I'm saying. Okay. He would have adjusted and been great.
Maybe.
I don't think it's a maybe. I don't think it's a maybe.
What I want to say is the GOAT conversation goes based on eras.
Right.
Sure.
You say, okay, let's take the Jim Brown era. Yes, he's the greatest because he did something in that era of football that no one ever saw and never will see again.
Right.
But then you have a Franco Harris or a Roger Craig. There was of their era because no one saw and did what they did in those eras. Right. Emmitt Smith is to go to his era because, and Walter Payton, because no one saw what they ever did again. Barry Sanders, LaDainian Tomlinson. And so when you say Tom Brady is the GOAT, is he though?
It's
a modern era, yes.
Yeah.
If you threw him into
when he could get hit every play and all that shit, like Bradshaw used to get annihilated,
right?
And those guys, it's a whole different game.
That era, is he the same quarterback?
I agree with you because I think Kyle's stupid. So I agree completely.
No, I think greatness rises.
I don't like getting into someone is the GOAT.
You're right. I agree completely.
If LeBron and MJ is the classic.
That's not even that's not even close though.
No. I don't care.
Right.
Right.
So hey, here's the deal. Go ahead.
MJ was to go to his era. LeBron could be.
LeBron
his legacy is yet to be determined.
Could LeBron be in a physical game that long for as long as he's been in? That would be my only question because MJ,
don't know.
MJ's silky and sexy. He had the moves.
The thing is, we will never know.
You're right.
Right.
But it's great to argue on podcasts and radio and shit, isn't it?
I cannot be pulled into it. I cannot be bothered by it because it's pointless, and you're not going to be able to say someone is correct.
You're right.
But I definitely am a believer of if you're great, you're going to be great, and that's all there is to it.
There is something to that. But the eras do change the way the game's played and what your skill sets are and all that. So,
but then their skill set would have changed.
All right. So evidently, Kyle and I are going to stay on after we let you go, John, and argue and box about
fight,
it.
Maybe. Right.
Hey, we might bowl off. We might bowl it off.
Yeah, that's a.
Kyle is leaving for the Nationals, the bowling Nationals. If you want to give him anything inspirational or any kind of technical jargon, Kyle leaves this week to go to Baton Rouge for the Nationals. So.
Hey man, go crush it.
I'll do my best.
Cut your hand off, put on a dummy hand, and go win it.
I'd probably bowl better.
Come on, Big Earn. John, awesome man. Thanks a lot. Can you tell everybody where they can find you? I mean, you're not going to get a bunch out of us. I mean, you got more followers than we do, but you might pick some people up. Who knows? But let them know where you can find it.
You can always find the PitchGrid Podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. We are always on Facebook and TikTok and Instagram. You can always find us there. We are doing a new segment for Pitchback, where the Pitchback is where we have fan questions, hot takes, all of that. You can always, when we throw that post up, that means that's the bat signal for you to send on it and tell us your hottest takes, and I'll react to them if I can. Or your questions, and I will try to answer them. And yeah, I mean, if you go find us there, we always try to bring the best content and bring the voice of both football from both sides of the pond and give voice to the teams that don't have a voice.
I love it. We got to do this again. I love it.
Yeah.
Especially as the football season goes along, man. You're awesome. Good luck with the baby. Good luck with the new one. You're going to have hands full, bro. Hey, we're going to see how many episodes you miss when the baby comes. We got eyes on you, man.
Appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. Keep crushing it.
Yeah, thanks. Hey,
right,
you do the same.
Yeah, we'll talk to you, man. We'll be reaching out. We'll get back together. Appreciate you, bud.
Sounds good. Y'all have a good one.
You too. Bye.
That's it for today's episode. But before you go, ask yourself this. What's your unplanned story? Because here on Unplanned Approach, we don't script the chaos. We celebrate it. Real people, real moments, real life plot twists that no one saw coming. Whether it was a chance encounter, a missed train, or a wild pivot that changed everything. We want to hear it. Got a story that deserves the mic? Hit us up. Submit yours at unplannedapproach.com or find us on socials at Unplanned Approach. Until next time, stay spontaneous, stay real, and never underestimate going in without a plan. This is Unplanned Approach, where the detour is the destination.